Hello there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Deepa Robbins from DeeZinesByD, and today I have another washi tape card for you. The last time I posted this, it was very popular, so I thought I'd go ahead and post another one. Now, if you're not familiar with it, these washi tapes are from PinkFresh Studios and they are amazing. I'm absolutely in love with them. And this time I decided to make a Christmas card out of it in honor of Christmas in July. I've been doing this a lot lately. And I love this washi tape because it has a really elegant look to it. The navies and the indigos and the silver grayish type tone really goes well with mirrored cardstock, which I'm going to be using and doing a bit of glitter heat embossing on as well. So let's get into it. Here is the washi tape from PinkFresh Studios. This set is called Indigo Vines, and you can buy the washi tape, the die, and the stamps, and you can use them all together separately however you want. As I've said before, the possibilities are endless. So I've actually gone ahead and already put the washi tape onto a piece of cardstock here. It's just regular white cardstock. I think this one is Nina Exact, so it's actually thinner, so it's not going to add too much bulk to my card. And I normally just use an X-Acto knife there to cut off the edge so that I'm not like wasting the next bit of my washi tape. And I use that acrylic block to kind of get out any air bubbles. And like I said, this washi tape is very forgiving. You can pick it up, put it down, and it still stays pretty sticky and the image stays very nice. So I'm going to go and fasten the coordinating die. And this is going to cut out about 5 or 6 dies in one swift swoop of your die cutting machine. Now, I don't like doing too much die cutting. It's kind of annoying to go back and forth with all these different dies, lining them up. So this is ideal. So here I'm going to be using the Sizzix Opulent cardstock. This one is in charcoal and it's a mirror cardstock, and I thought it worked very well with the Indigo Vines. So I'm actually going to apply a whole bunch of anti-static powder. Because this is a mirror cardstock, anything is going to stick to it very easily. And I'm going to stamp out with some Versamark ink this wreath here. I'll get into where that's from in a minute. And I'm going to use some Zing silver glitter embossing powder. I don't know how available this is. I think this was one of the first embossing powders I bought when I started doing card making. So I still have it, and I figured the glitter is very nice. It makes like a very nice contrast on this mirror cardstock, and it looks so elegant. So you can go ahead and use any glitter embossing powder that you may have. This is just what I have in stock. I mean, in stock in my crafty stash. So I'm going to use my heat gun, and I'm going to make sure it's really hot before I apply it to the paper, to the cardstock, and I'm going to heat it a bit and take it off. Heat it a bit and take it off because I don't want it to kind of melt or warp that mirror cardstock. And I do have to say, Sizzix has done a good job with this cardstock. I don't find that even if I do kind of keep the heat on it a little longer, it doesn't really warp. And if it does, after drying, not drying, but cooling down, it goes back. I just use a Swiffer cloth for this, and it worked very well. So you can see the look on the mirror cardstock. It looks very nice. I can only imagine what a bigger, thicker image might look like, which is something I'm going to try out on another video for you. So I'm just going to take the wreath and kind of create a bit of a border with it at the top and bottom, because I'm going to be having that Indigo Vines wreath in the center of the card. So I'm just going to go ahead and heat up all those little images using a lot of anti-static powder, and at the end I'll wipe all of it off like I've done here with that cloth there on the right, and you can see what a nice effect this has. I think it looks very elegant. So here's the set that I use. This is the Simon Says Stamp Holiday Cheer Stamp set. I use that wreath at the top left. I totally forgot to show you ahead of time. So that's the wreath there. And now I'm going to show you this. Okay, so I actually used the Joy from this Photo Play die set. I don't know what I was thinking. I got ahead of myself with this recording and I just forgot to show most of the stuff. But here's what I ended up doing. I used some white glitter cardstock. Again, this is the Sizzix Opulent cardstock. And I cut out the Joy, and then I cut out the background, or the shadow, with some shimmer vellum. And I'm just gluing on those little letters now. And this is basically going to go in the center of my wreath. So I got a bit of glue on there, but actually once that dried, it dried clear enough that you really didn't see anything there. And this is the CZ Chunky Christmas Simon Says stamp collaboration set. I only used this little sentiment here, the "to the world" to go with the joy. And I'm just stamping that out on some white cardstock with some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. And I didn't quite like that one. It was a little too thick. I pushed too hard. So I stamped it again. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that down to size so I can use it. And now I'll just kind of assemble all these little washi die cuts onto the front of my card. So this one, the wreath, I put flat with some glue, some Barely Art glue. And then these other little pieces, I'm just going to position them around the wreath. And I'm gonna give it a bit of dimension by adding some foam squares. Sorry, it's like I'm slurring my words today. I'm just so tired. I've been trying my best to keep up my workouts every other day and take care of the kids, and it was kind of hot today. And anyways, long story short, I'm tired. So please excuse any slurring of any sort. So I'm gonna just go ahead and keep positioning these leaves around the wreath. And you could place your leaves however you wanted. You could maybe even place some on the edges. I just felt that I wanted to keep most of my my little die cuts in the center so that I didn't cover that nice embossing on the edges. So as you can see, I've cut down that strip so that it's not as long. And I'm using, again, the foam squares by cutting them into little strips and placing them behind the white pieces of cardstock so that you can't see it through the vellum. So, I mean, if you like this card and you like my videos, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and hit the notification bell to be notified of any other videos that I post. And I'm going to be posting a little link at the end of this video with, if you click on it, it'll take you to my blog, which shows you all the supplies that I've used. They're all listed, they're all linked for you to click and take a look at if you'd like. I do have some affiliate links, so I'll let you know that ahead of time. It really is, you know, just a way for me to kind of fuel my blog. I'd love to eventually have those really nice deli links or something like that so that I can list all the products I've used much easier for you guys to take a look at. So if you do buy something, please use the links. I would really appreciate it. So let's carry on with the card. As you can see, I put those little embellishments on the card. Those are the AB lolly beads. And for the inside of the card, so I've cut a card base here. Again, this is like a heavy cardstock. This is actually hammer mill photo paper. So it's not actually like a Nina like a Nina cardstock. But you could use any heavyweight cardstock you may have. And so I'm taking this stamp from PinkFresh, and I don't want to use the whole stamp, right? Like normally you stamp out the whole thing and then you can cut it all out with the die. But I'm showing you here, you can attach it to a big acrylic block or something that you may have, like a stamp positioner that might be bigger or something like that. And you can just stamp off sections of it like I'm doing here. So, I mean, just be a little creative with the tools that you have, and you can definitely make your stamps work for your purposes. So I'm going to stamp this wreath again, so it kind of ties in my front, or it ties in the actual washi tape to the rest of the inside of my card. And so I've cleaned it off, and then now I've stuck it on the other end because I just want to use a few of those other floral elements just at the corners of the card. So I'm kind of just figuring out where I want it. Then once I have an idea of where it's going to stamp on my page, I'll ink that portion of the stamp up, and then I'll stamp it down. So I'm not stamping the whole thing and accidentally stamping other places that I don't want to. And the key to doing this technique is to make sure you clean off your stamp properly each time you stamp it down. That way you're not stamping down any contaminated areas of other areas of the stamp that you didn't intend to. And because this is going to be more of the background on the inside of my card, it doesn't matter if it's not completely stamped or it's a little darker in areas than others. So it's a bit forgiving in that sense. So here I'm going to take the other little floral images that I have. I think I actually cut out the washi tape twice. So that whole panel, I cut that out twice. So I have another wreath left over that I can use for another project. But all these little floral bits come in handy. Well, I guess they're not floral. They're leafy elements. Anyways, they come in handy on the inside of my card. And I found that this technique looked very nice. It reminds me of a bit of a scrapbook page. It's probably something I do for a scrapbook page, but it works well for the inside of the card. So if you're a scrapbooker and a card maker, think of your scrapbooking layouts and maybe use that for the insides of your cards. Now you can see I'm using a rubber cement eraser here because I actually dropped one of the die cuts with glue on it there. And you can still see a bit of a mark. I used a rubber cement eraser and I want to make sure it's completely clean. So I'm actually going to use the Tombow mono sand eraser, and that completely got rid of that mark. So now all I have left is my sentiment, and I'm using the Altenew Holiday Wishes stamp set, which I've used before and is pretty much my go-to Christmas stamp set for inside sentiments. So I'm stamping that down with some VersaFine Clair Twilight ink because it matches with the indigo vines. And then once that's dry, important to make sure it's dry because it is VersaFine Clair, and the VersaFine Clair stays wetter longer. And so I use my double-sided tape on the edges of the card front, and I use some Tombow mono dot runner for the center. And I haven't taken off the I haven't taken off the backing of my double-sided tape yet, my Be Creative tape. I'm just getting it down, seeing if I like it. Once it's down, because I use the dot runner in the center, I can lift it up and reposition it if I want to. I happen to like where it was, so I went ahead and started pulling off all those backings to my double-sided tape, and now it's 100% fastened. That's not going anywhere, and that's the final card. So you have that beautiful mirror front and then that coordinating inside of your card, which makes a really elegant Christmas card. So as I mentioned, if you like my video, give me a thumbs up. And I'm going to be placing a couple more videos for you to take a look at here that also use the washi tape. And then I think I have a playlist here actually that's going to take you through some other videos that I've done if you'd like to take a look. You also have the option to subscribe to my blog. Go to my blog, visit it, see if you like what's there. And if you want to, I would really appreciate if you would subscribe because I'd love to see more subscribers and more people being inspired by the things that I do. So I hope you have a great day and a great crafty weekend, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks again. Bye.